Yesterday, I did a live early in the morning because I realized that I have this subscription and I need to use up all of these credits that I have purchased. One credit is 1 minute. I have to use up all of these credits, and I had 52 days to use up 57 hours worth of credits because I haven't been consistent on my channel. So I'm going to try my best to use those credits because I'm a frugal person. I'm a very frugal person. I'm frugal. What can I say? I purchased these credits and I need to use them. I need to use them. I need to try to use them. The anal retentive in me is not gonna let this slide. Yeah. So I did a whole live yesterday morning and was telling you about these books that I have been reading, and I finished the book. I'm currently reading the book. I finished 2 books actually, and so I was gonna tell you about them. So the first book that I finished is called How We Get Free, and so the statement is the statement of the Combahee River Collective, and then it's a collection of interviews of the ladies that had a hand in creating the statement and creating the collective. So the first part of the book was the Combahee River Collective statement. The audio, the narrator, she was saying Combahee, but I've always said Combahee because it's like, a native word. There were interviews with 3 of the founders of the Combahee River Collective and then Alicia Garza. I want to add it to my collection because the statement is a statement about black feminism and why we need black feminism, and it goes into why they needed to break away, to break apart from the other groups that they were part of. They needed something of their own because they had shared interests that they needed to explore and discuss and flesh ideas and strategies out for and goals. And they, in doing this, one happenstance of them doing this, they happened to create the concept of identity politics. And so this statement is the origin of that concept, and that's another reason why it would be a good reference to have, especially at a time like this, and particularly because the term has been bastardized and used against people in a way that it was never intended to. So, knowledge is power, and knowing the original meaning of the term identity politics would be good. So they talk about that. They talk about why they needed to, as black feminists, why they needed to separate from the other feminists, and also the Black Power movement. And I liked reading the 3 different perspectives of the same story. And like all good reference and nonfiction books, there are other literary works and books and references that are mentioned in the text. So that was How We Get Free, the black feminism. I'm gonna stop right there because I don't have the book in front of me, so I can't tell you what it is. I'm gonna cut that out. The second book that I finished was August Lane. August Lane is a romance, and that is not something that I'm used to reading. I'm not really in a romantic headspace, but I really liked it. I really liked August Lane. The 2 main characters were music collaborators. They made country music, and they weren't stars or anything, but they were, true artists. So, and of course, it's a romance novel, so they had fallen in love. They fell in love. And it was interesting because it was kind of like a lovers to enemies to lovers story. And it was a really good romance novel for people who don't read romance novels, I think. And I wouldn't know because I don't really read a lot of romance. But this one was cool. It was really cute. I did actually appreciate reading about the longing that they have for each other. They were pining for each other. And that is important in romance novels because, like, I hear the romance girlies say all the time that that's what's missing from these contemporary romance books is, like, the believability, the believable story, the pining, the longing that the two characters have for each other. So, if you're one of those girlies who is looking for, like, a really, like, a believable love story, you should pick up August Lane. And it was cool to read about, like, country music and, like, the music industry and country music lore. But yeah, there was a lot of, like, country music factoids in there. I want to get a physical copy of this too. So I guess a kind of a side quest of me having a book channel is me basically sorting out in my mind what books do I want to keep and what books do I want a copy of and what books do I not need a copy of and I need to give away. That's what I call shelf control. Okay, so another thing I noticed about August Lane is that I thought it was very litficky. Like, it was very much a good story. It was not a schmoopy, sappy romance. Because, you know, I actually did read something. It wasn't sappy, schmoopy romance, but it just was too, it was too candy sweet. It was just too corny. And it wasn't even that the love story was corny. It was that, I don't know, it was that the maybe the writing was corny. The technicality of the book was kind of corny. It was like, this book, August Lane, was edgy. It was edgy in a way that I didn't really expect from a romance novel. So it was another reason why I was like, oh, this is a decent romance. This is a good romance novel for someone who doesn't read romance. I gave it 5 stars because the story was there. And I mean, you kind of just was, you felt for these two. You felt for them. And you wanted them to win. And I love litfic. I love the drama. So, yeah. It was right up my alley. They took each other through, or they just went through a lot. It was cute. But also check your trigger warnings. Check the trigger warnings on these books because the books that I mentioned, they be triggering. Speaking of which, I'm currently reading Luster. I'm probably on like chapter 3 or 4. Luster by Raven Leilani. Now this book is something else. It's written in like a stream of consciousness type of prose, but it's very like, it's very raw. It starts off, you know, very like, it's sexy. It's a sexy book. The story is sexy. No, the character is a sexy character, I will say, because the character is giving sex addict. What is the word for the sex addict? I forget. Yeah, I have to look that up. So it's giving that the main character is addicted to sex, and that's why I say it's sexy, because it's not sexy. It's just full of sex. I'm gonna have to cut that out. That was horrible. So this is an interesting character, a young lady, and she's been fired. And I'm trying to figure out what she did to get fired, but she's not really laying that out for us yet. And she is, having these dates and rendezvous and sexcapades. And yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, the book is written in like a stream of consciousness type prose, and that's interesting. I love stream of consciousness writing. I really like books that are written in stream of consciousness. It makes me, I always think that when I'm reading a book like this, I always think that the person is an Aquarius because they sound like me in my head. So this is interesting because this girl, well, it actually reminds me of All Fours. Was the same way. It was very like sex positive and sex centered, and it was like written in stream of consciousness. So I'm just trying to see what craziness this lady is gonna get into next. Right now, she's dating a married man. He's in an open marriage, and she just met his wife on accident. So we'll see where this goes. I've heard only good things about this book, so I was excited to get a copy of it from the library. But that's it. That's all I've been doing. That's all I've been reading. I have a couple of, this is so much bumping and thumping. I have a couple of library books that I need to, get serious about. And get reading. Yeah, I'm sorry for the bumpity thumpity, excuse me. But like I said, I have to record videos. And talk to you about my books because I'm running out of time to use these credits. So I'm gonna upload a bunch of videos and tell you all about my reading journey. I guess that also means I need to chop and read faster, huh? Well, no, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you about stuff that I've already read. I'll figure something out. But yeah, that's enough for now. Happy reading.